what it is, people, conspiracy theorists who are drawn to this title. Hello, welcome. Sorry I'm late. I know I promised to be on time. Didn't work out that way this time. Sorry. But on the other hand, I'm ready. And I wasn't quite. It only took a few minutes. So, look on the bright side. And then time isn't even real. So why do we start at 7? All right. So everybody doing good? We can talk about lots of stuff today. Excellent. I see many topics. It's wonderful sometimes to travel to the past, to have your mind brought back into time, to when things were simpler and YouTube didn't censor as much, which was around the time of Pizzagate. Let us go back to 2000. It was 2017, right? That was a significant year. Was it 2017? I think so. 2017. Pizzagate. So I want to show you everything I can find about it. We'll revisit it. I had to check to make sure that the word isn't banned on YouTube, but I put it in search and it autofilled. So it looks like it's no longer banned. Used to be that if you just put words in the title, if you put in Pizzagate, they just gave you a strike basically automatically. Eventually, after the fact, many months after the fact, perhaps. But there was a community actually of Pizzagate researchers. There was a community of Pizzagate researchers, some of whom are probably, I can guarantee, are butthurt that they're not the ones on the Joe Rogan show today getting all the praise. But timing is everything, unfortunately, in this life. So here you go. Carroll comes out. He's got the same information, but it's a different time. And he's on Twitter, right? So he's on Rogan. He made it on Rogan. He was talking about Pizzagate. I will play the clip in its entirety. But if you're watching this after the fact, the last time I played a Joe Rogan clip, it got not censored, but what do they call it? Copyright. Got the copyright thing, and it got blocked worldwide, and I had to remove the video. It was Joe and Tulsi watching a video about Ukraine. I hadn't really thought about it before, but I got that video denied worldwide, so nobody could see it. So I deleted the segment, and that might happen again. That's all I'm saying. Thank you. So we're going to talk about Pizzagate, I guess. Don't see why not. We're not going to say we're not going to say anything definitively. So they should let us talk about it. If they don't, fuck them. We will survive. But then you might have to take a break from the show, which would be unfortunate. So we're going to try not to. I mean, as far as I know, we're going to obey all rules and regulations so that the video is able to be seen and heard. Because if it can't be seen or heard, then, well, at least you have the podcast. So there will be a podcast no matter what. Hey, Pirate. Hey, Cadence Films. Hey, Ron Walker. Hey, Ricky from Sunnyvale. Good to see everybody. Oh, it's actually a lot of people tuned in so far. So we got to make sure to do a good show. I'm sorry. Sorry I wasn't more focused from the beginning. We must tell you about Pizzagate. We must tell you why it's in the news again. In this time of disclosure. I was going to say revelations, but easing back a little bit. One level below revelations is disclosure. So here we are, disclosure, where everything is coming into the open. All that is dark will be seen by the light, including everything you ever did. So don't get too excited. But first, we're going to start with the bad guys, because those are the ones that really need to be exposed. So, yeah, we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, the emails, WikiLeaks. They say it all started from WikiLeaks. We're going to see if we can find the reality check segment that was the reason that newscaster Ben, not everything comes to me. It would if I was really thinking perfectly. Anyway, that guy, which somebody will mention in the chat, so we'll be okay. He did a segment about it. That's pretty good. That pretty much explained it. It didn't go into the, well, actually, I haven't seen it for a while. Swann, yes, Swann, Ben Swann, has the fancy hair and stuff. Ben Swann. So let's see if we can find it. Well, I mean, we can start off with that. We have 69 people tuned in. It's a good sign. Okay, we'll start with the intro and then we'll get to the show. Thanks for being here. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. All right. You'll be able to decide before it's over if it's real or not. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about today, but then I remembered an article that I had seen, or something I had seen earlier in the day, and I remembered Pizzagate. And I knew that we'd want to talk about it if we were allowed to. So yeah, here it is. I found Ben Swann. So this is it. This will give you the, well, I haven't seen it for a long time. Ben Swann is my age. This was in, I mean, he's born the same year as me, I found out just by searching for this video. And then I would like to know what year this video came out, but I'm pretty sure it was 2017. So if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. So here it is. This is like the original. This was on the news, on the local news, on CBS. Before Ben Swann disappeared, got fired, and then reappeared later, continuing to do the same thing, but not on the mainstream news. So here it is.
Since we're going to be talking about preparing for a time of crisis, we have a brand new sponsor, All Family Pharma. They're cutting through the red tape to get you the meds that you need.
Thank you, Don Jr.
Introducing the Icke, the non-lethal self-defense platform. Lightweight and simple to use. It uses an easy to...
Well, Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support the story? I've got to warn you, what we're going to talk about tonight will be disturbing to some people, but this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else.
Okay. So this, gosh, I decided to cover this story. I decided to play this video. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm just thinking about the trauma of strikes and the trauma to you too. Like I can't do a show for a week and I value doing that. And actually, especially for the next week, because I got stuff to talk about. So I must be cautious. Can I show you guys? He shows the Instagram images. Is there anything wrong with the Instagram images? I'm sure he blurs them out. I'm sure he did everything he was supposed to do to present it on the news at the time. Now, the question is it okay now? Do we take the risk? Okay. Yeah. Why not? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess. I do not want to fucking... I'm sorry. I have so much traumatic experience with getting strikes from YouTube that it actually is like super disconcerting.
Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. In all, WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that the claims that John Podesta may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. Now, to be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. So how did a DC pizza parlor get pulled into the story? Well, again, read any mainstream report and they indicate that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was somehow linked to this fake story and has no relation to anyone involved. But the truth is that's not true either. What media is ignoring is that the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times, and that the owner of that place, James Alfantis, is a friend of John Podesta. He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner. Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring. But there are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza, and the accusations of pedophilia.
I remember
now,
this.
This is where things start to get strange when you...
And Carroll thinks, oh, the symbols.
Begin, I need to show
Look at
you
the
a
symbols.
2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI, contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo.
That's true.
Only a few weeks ago.
See, that's
Clearly,
not
you
false.
can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle. Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alfantis, is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. 2 of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and the band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there, that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code.
You'll hear it. It's kind of funny. Rogan's like, oh, there are some weird symbols too. Ian's like, oh, yeah, he's like, that's a conspiracy theory or something. I have no idea. He's new here though, so we welcome him.
Code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alfantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America.
Media Matters, my enemy.
Began to blow up online. He has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But an archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and words with strange and disturbing images associated.
Okay, that's where I'm going to pause it. There's literally nothing he said that warrants any kind of action. So I'm not saying it was real. Just saying people were looking into things. And there are some pictures. I can describe the pictures. I mean, there's a kid that's taped down, has her arms taped down on a ping pong table, and there's a baby holding stacks of money, and there's very strange commentary, very strange. There's a picture of a room that he calls what do they call it? It's for murdering people in. Whatever the official name is for that. It's like a steel box, basically, where you can imagine hosing all the blood and brains or whatever sick stuff you do in there off down into a drain or something. What does he call it? A murder room? Or so yeah, well, you say David Icke wasn't too happy about the Rogan episode. Well, I'm looking into David Icke because he says he's getting information from off world. So I'm just curious who he's talking to and stuff. What was it? Why was he unhappy about the Rogan episode? Because it wasn't him, basically. Human beings are funny, man. You're not going to have a good channel if you're always thinking about your own like fame and fortune and stuff, and like people saying you're awesome and everything. It's not really going to work, right? It's not you, David. Sorry. You know what I mean? Kill room, red room, kill room. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Red room. Yeah. So anyway, there was that, and there was the picture of the baby with all the money. It was as if they were, then people speculated. Then there was the email, which actually for me, uniquely, it seems like, certainly among this crowd, to me, I see an innocent way. Like I can see it in an innocent way. I can see it and see it in a way where they're not abusing children by the email. But most people think that most people I've seen the opinion of, including, Alex Jones and everybody else. What was that guy's name? I forget him because he's basically become totally invisible. There were a number of people who pointed out that David Seaman, of course. David Seaman was big on that email. So I'll show you the email. There's one email. Alex Jones pretended to cry about it when it happened. I remember the episode distinctly. Alex Jones, his producer, was on there with him, and he was pretending to cry about how bad the Democrats are. Let's see. Podesta email. Entertaining. Let's see. See if I can find it with Google. It's not easy. Fake story. John Podesta. I can go to WikiLeaks. Got to try to find it. Is this the one? I'm just looking for it. Something about kids in a pool and stuff. I'll show you. Because, I don't want to discount the possibility that it is talking about something sick. I'm just saying, from my point of view, it's possible that's not sick. Where is it? How do I find it? What do I use? DuckDuckGo? Fuck. I knew it would be hard to find this stuff. They do bury things, or they try. Okay. DuckDuckGo, let's see. I could just write in Pizzagate email and see what happens. Harled. Nathan should open the panels again. Why? So I can have you on, sir. You, sir, are very vulgar. You are profane, you know, to be honest. And it's very much for the people that are accustomed to listening to this, to me. That's all. So it's unlikely that we will invite on those types of people again, but it's possible. Otherwise, I may appear elsewhere. Certainly more likely to if invited. So if people want to talk to me, they can invite me. You, sir. No, you're cool, Harlan. You're guided by something. Obviously. We have to think about all the dead people. I was thinking about Tracy Twyman today. Pizzagate email. Let's see. It's very hard to find this. It's very difficult. I wish it were easier. I can go to the... Okay, I'm going to just explain it so I don't waste your time. I apologize for not having it ready in advance. Like I said, I was kind of getting things together. I thought I would be able to find it. It was the email everybody talked about. It said something like, we're going to be here. There will be children. There's going to be a pool. There will be children here for your entertainment. And they're going to go in the pool and hot tub. That's pretty much what it said. And everybody read into that was really sick and twisted and that there was no other way to read it. So I felt a little weird that the email itself I didn't think of as damning, you know, like a smoking gun or anything. But many people did find it that way. So that's what they said. We'll have kids here for your entertainment. Says their ages. You know, many people thought that was extremely strange. I can just see like waspy people like saying, oh, the kids will be here like for your entertainment. Like it's a joke. You know, that was, it could just, I mean, everything doesn't have to always be that children are, you know what I mean? But the rest of it, and then somebody mentioned Vegan Mikey. There was a follow-up to it. That was it was connected to the Voodoo Donuts thing because there were people, Vegan Mikey claimed that I can't remember their names. It would be better if I didn't mention them anyway. But you could find out for yourself. There were people who were friends or who worked at Comet Pizza. And this is a true story, which you can fact check. There are people that worked at Comet Pizza, male and female, I believe, who moved to Portland after the Pizzagate scandal. And they made coffins, including child coffins, you know. And Vegan Mikey made, you know, another claim about them that there was a conversation, you know. And actually, I spoke with one of the guys. I called him from my show. There was a phone number. Man, my old self was truly something. There was a phone number. It was like, call him. I think I remember his name too. And I called it. And I spoke with him. I was like, hey, do you know? And then he was like, oh, I'm going to shut you down. I know where you are. I know you were broadcasting that. Like he started threatening me immediately. And I took the video down. I was doing it on Twitch at the time. I've been on many broadcast platforms, but I actually spoke with the guy on the phone. Anyway, it's true. There are news articles about these people and, you know, you can factually connect them to Comet Pizza, James Alefantis, and then moving to Portland, where you have this other story, which understandably is in doubt because of the person who disclosed the information being, you know, problematic in people's eyes, which, you know, I understand. It's not always the message, you know, there's a messenger too. So I don't know how he's doing. I was told he was dead at one point. Then the person was like, oh, no, he's not dead. No idea otherwise. I haven't had any contact. So I'm not sure. From what I understand, he's not dead. So that's good. That's positive. You You know, if his stories are true, if he's psychologically tortured, that certainly makes sense. And if he, you know, feels like using drugs because of it, considering the stories he told me, I wouldn't blame him. So it's really sad the way this world works. And that kind of behavior can be discrediting and stuff. And you know, and hopeful, like we'd certainly wish the best for him, just like every human, flawed or not. We hope that he finds peace somehow. So, but yeah, that's the story too. That was connected, and that was connected through research that I did, and that was connected direct. And Vegan Mikey was somehow directly connected to Isaac Kappy. So all of this ties in together, kind of. And Isaac Kappy is beyond. If I ever figure out how to reach him, I'll let you know for sure. I just don't know. I don't know for sure. I mean, you know, I had a pretty clear picture of what happened to him. I had an idea about who was responsible for it and maybe a reason for it, but I have no confidence in that. I don't believe he was like murdered in the traditional sense that you could find a suspect and like you can investigate it and find a suspect and put him in jail. I don't think in that sense that he was murdered. So it's really sad. He was he was a sacrifice, just like a lot of people have been. Unfortunately, it's just the way the world is. It's fucked up. So, however, he has inspired many people, and many people carry forward with his spirit. So, we can't question God's wisdom, right? And taking him from us. Davy Crocco is the other name I was looking for. Thanks, Davy Crocco. Yeah, we lost Davy Crocco too. And Blazing Scar, you bring up a very interesting name, certainly. I hadn't wanted to really get into it at the time. I actually stayed away after Isaac died. I could have covered it forever, it seemed like. I mean, same way Phoenix Enigma did on YouTube and gotten tons of views and tons of interest and stuff. And I just deliberately stayed on Twitch, and we kind of talked about it, and we talked about our theories and stuff. But I stayed out of the spotlight, which I think may have been a wise decision, because there's just quite a bit of drama surrounding it, like there always is. So there's always drama when it comes to alleged child abuse. You know, people are very emotional about it, and emotions drive behavior, and people do crazy shit. Crazy shit has happened to me over the years. You guys have no idea. Some people do, but they've tried to kill me many times. But thankfully, I made it. Thankfully. It hasn't been easy, but we made it this far. Thank God. I think we're on the other side of everything. We wanted to see the email. I explained what was in the email. Now we want to see Ian Carroll. So let's check that out. See if he did an adequate job of describing, representing Pizzagate in front of a massive audience. Which clip should I play? Let's see if it's labeled on YouTube as Pizzagate. This guy's famous. I'm guessing about Ian Carroll, just understanding how the truth business works, especially when mostly you talk about Jews. I'm sorry, juice. Mostly you're talking about juice. You don't make any money typically. So Ian Carroll is about to have a little more fame. I think, so he's, from what I can tell, what I can divine, or is that the appropriate use of that word? You actually divine things? Yeah, that's true. Huh, interesting. He's got dough or something, or he lives with his parents. Same as I did, you know. I lived in my dad's house. No shame in it, but it's not a glamorous lifestyle. But it's awesome being on Joe Rogan's show, I'm sure. So I'll find the clip on. It's not on YouTube. Doesn't look like. Not clipped out. And Liz Crokin, she is super excited. You got to be super excited when that's your thing. Okay, here it is. This is the clip on Joe Rogan Show, which is on YouTube right now. So there can't be anything wrong with it as far as YouTube is concerned. So here we go.
Stuff like Pizzagate. Like when they had that guy come in and
I already
fire
know
off that shot, I felt like that was a great way to put a halt to all the looking into the Podesta emails.
What that was.
Because then all of a sudden it's a kook thing. Now it's a crazy person and a dangerous person because he's got a gun. You're causing dangerous people to take their guns.
Just like with the vaccines, it's like they always have to make it dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous to say that this might have side effects, right?
Because if you read those emails,
exactly right.
Those emails are bananas.
They're not explained.
They're talking about young kids who are going to be coming to a party to have fun. They're talking about
in the
pizza
pool,
and
they will be
dogs.
there for sure. $65,000 worth of hot dogs flown from Chicago for a White House party.
Okay, so it's good not to get confused, or it's good to not get off track when you're telling a story that requires some kind of subtlety and detail. The $65,000 for pizza and stuff, which was for a ping pong party, I think, pizza and hot dogs, separate from Pizzagate. That was just Obama flying people to the White House. But strange. Certainly was strange at the time.
The whole thing is like very weird.
Did you ever see the archived Instagram post from James Alefantis' Instagram?
No,
because that's a dark place. So that there's so many layers to Pizzagate that they tried to cover up intentionally for very good reason.
Well, how about the logos?
Well, the thing is, I avoid, in the way I've talked about it, I've avoided all the symbols and logos and even some of the pizza stuff because I think there's so much more ripe, clear evidence that is way more powerful. And James Alefantis' Instagram account is
How does it get more clear than the FBI saying that this symbol is for pedos, and then there being the exact same symbol next door? Oh, that's not evidence. No, that's nothing. Or forget the guy next door, which was, I guess, somewhat pizza-like, the logo. Not really. Which is exactly the same. And then there was a band there that played that was sick and perverted that had the logo too. Exactly the same. So that is kind of like, that is kind of basic. He's like, oh, I don't know about symbols. How do you think they talk to aliens? You know what I mean? Like, how do you think they talk to people who don't know our languages? Like, what do you think they use? But what did they start with? Hieroglyphs? So why would you think symbolism isn't important? He'll get there. You know what I mean? You got to give people time. It's very exciting when you first learn things. That's where I'm at right now with a lot of stuff too. Very exciting. You want to get it all out, but you might be totally wrong about a lot of stuff. So that's fine. We forgive people. It's important to forgive people. We forgive him.
But all the symbols and logos and even some of the pizza stuff, because I think there's so much more ripe, clear evidence that is way more powerful. And James Alefantis' Instagram account is a great example where
can you find it online?
So you cannot find it on Instagram anymore. It's only been archived onto other sites, which is kind of sketchy because it's like, how do I know you're not adding photos and stuff? So you kind of have to dig and cross-reference over and over and over to make sure that you're getting sort of like the consensus, because everyone watched as it happened. So people like Liz Crokin, people like Alex Jones, like they saw these things come out, and you can find plenty of different archives of all of James Alefantis' Instagram posts. And there are things like photos of children with their arms taped to tables, and the caption is "looks like a fun time." And then people that have always been commenting on his posts, like the people that are interacting with his posts all the time, have even weirder Instagrams where it's like kill room and there's a coffin that's open and things like that. There's
weird.
like a photo of like a walk-in freezer and it's like, man, looks like you've been having a fun weekend. Things like that are just super dark, and a bunch of babies and a bunch of symbolism, a bunch of children, and it's all photos on their Instagram in plain daylight. And it all got scrubbed, obviously.
Jesus
and that's not
Christ.
to mention Podesta's art collection and the Marina Abramovich connections. It goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Clintons with the Haiti scandals, with the cocaine in Arkansas. It's like the thing is that we sound crazy. I sound crazy to someone that doesn't do their own research, because you just there's so many layers of like crazy shit that's happened with some of these people.
Yeah.
That if you don't know the history of a person like Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, it's really easy to think, oh, that's just so insane that you would think that they'd be involved in it. And first of all, they frame it in the articles about Pizzagate. They say Hillary Clinton was the mastermind of a global pedophile sex trafficking ring, all headquartered in this pizza shop, which is not what anyone ever claimed.
Right. So as soon as you can discredit that, you discredit the whole thing.
Classic frame job, which Nancy Pelosi explains very well, where you make a false claim and you say that's what they're saying, and then you discredit the false claim.
There you go. So that's Ian Carroll. I thought I did an adequate job. It's fine. It's fine. You can't control who goes on Joe Rogan, but I understand people being butthurt. I understand that. That's a human quality to be butthurt, apparently. I'm sure Titus feels that way too. No, Titus is probably throwing shit right now. I'm guessing. He's probably like, what the fuck? Like, this guy's an idiot. That's probably what they're thinking. He's not that bad. At least, he does talk about juice quite a bit. Quite a bit. Way more than you should. The way this matrix is designed, way more than you should if you care about your well-being, financial and otherwise. So you got to give him credit for that at least. So that's Ian Carroll. That's him on there. The symbols. Why do they do it? If they did, why are they doing that to children? Why are they abusing children? I'm sure they're trying to do magic. They're trying to absorb spirit, while at the same time, in many cases, trying to create or get spirit into the child they're abusing at the same time. So if you're doing it generationally, you want to open up, the Kundalini chakra, where Satan comes in, according to Genesis, the snake that goes up your spine and enlightens you. So, and the trauma. We have a world right now where trauma opens up, channels, for lack of a better word. It can, because you disassociate, because you may kind of astrally travel, so you don't have to experience the trauma. So that's what some trauma victims describe, and most of them can't remember. The fact that Vegan Mikey remembered his abuse, allegedly, like every moment of it, is very unusual. Normally, it would just be missing from your memory entirely. So that's why they're able to get away with it, and that's why the abuse is so extreme and crazy and scary. Is that the more over the top and insane it is, the more likely that the memory will be erased. And so someone can't say you did something if they don't remember it at all. So that's the reason, for a lot of that stuff. But I'm sure it's some kind of very dark magic to absorb spirit, like a vampire. Most likely. So whether they know that's why they're doing it or not, it's a very sad feature of. It's a very sad feature here. It's very sad that it exists at all. It's very sad that it's allowed to happen, because it really hurts, really just obviously. There's a story going on right now, actually, in Utah, satanic ritual abuse story involving Mormons. So I covered it briefly. Now somebody reached or commented on one of my videos about it, saying I need to cover it more. But I've read the documents on that, and I actually published them. They're very, very explicit and talk about actual, satanic rituals and stuff, and just the worst kind of abuse you can imagine, which this person remembered and documented in a very long statement. I published it, and then they threatened me. A lawyers group threatened me and just told me that they said they were on behalf of victims, that on behalf of the victims, they don't want this information exposed. And there were names in there. So I took it down. I just took it down. I just deleted it. But yeah, there was a guy in there who was like a really prominent businessman who they said was the worst of the worst as far as abusing kids and stuff. Now he's still out there, totally free. And that case is ongoing. That case is ongoing in Utah. At this moment, videos are being posted about it in this time right now. So, and it's not a very popular, it's not something a lot of people know about outside of Utah. So it may be that I cover it again. I just have to see, but so that's another story that exists. It's Pizzagate, for the purposes of this episode, Pizzagate itself, like, I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying that's what they did. I'm just showing you guys what people are talking about online at the moment and covering it as news. But I am saying that it is real. I've spoken with people. People have told me stories back during that time. People would contact me and tell me stories and be like, "Oh, I'm not going on the air." I'd be like, "Well, what do I do with this horrific information?" There's stories about. I don't even want to tell you. It's extremely disturbing. I'm not sure how I'm able to deal with hearing about it without freaking out. For some reason, I'm able to, but it's very, very disturbing stuff. So, yeah, in this Pizzagate, that guy, that gunman, I looked into him. His father was very sketchy. He had a film company called Forever Young Pictures or something like that, and was like really, really out there as like fostering children. His father was like really well known, very respected in the area for like fostering children, adopting children, and being great. So I certainly questioned it, made some content about it. So, all right, let me think what else I need to cover about this, and then we can see what else we want to talk about in the news. Trying to think if there's anything else about Pizzagate that we missed. There was a concerted campaign, I was convinced, by certain influencers, including Alex Jones, where my memory was that it was the same day that Alex Jones and David Seaman both launched into the Pizzagate exposure, as if it was coordinated somehow. And both referencing the same email and not showing any Instagram pics or any of the other information. Pretty much, I'm trying to remember what David Seaman covered on his show, and he became very popular doing it, was mostly just the email. And then a lot of people were mad at him for not covering the real stuff. And then I was contacted to expose him by some psychic who thought I looked like their handler and baby daddy. told me to expose David Seaman for the good of like people who thought he wasn't legit. So that happened, and then to be fair, like it was so devastating. He doesn't exist anymore, pretty much. Like in the online reality world, as far as I know, he doesn't. It was crazy, which I would never do that again. But at the time I did. And people really, for some reason, people really liked the video. David Seaman at Pizzagate. Yes, that was my story. Then I went to the Pizzagate rally, and then David Seaman was there on stage, claimed I was following him around, then said that I was protecting pedophiles, all in front of like this big crowd, which was full of FBI agents. And it was like, it was so disturbing to me. Lots of things happened in sequence after that, which were directed. I can tell you, maybe I'll tell you about that later. It had to do with Hampstead. Somebody reached out to me, I believe that same day, and told me, and I believe it's that person who told me it was time to talk about Hampstead. And then Hampstead is when they really, spiritually, the people involved with that thing, really, really wanted to do something. And I wasn't supposed to make it after that. I wasn't supposed to be around after that, I don't think. So it was a very strange sequence of events. This person found me because I'd made a Pizzagate video showing the basement, because I found the basement, which was next door. There was a basement with a ping pong table in it, which they posted photographs of, which I found somehow like the architectural plans to the different buildings were available online if you paid for them. And that was why they were like, oh, you paid for that information. So like, you're serious. I was like, okay. Wasn't going to make the video, then finally made it. So that's my story with Pizzagate. I said many times it was a psyop. I was a little rebellious. I wasn't part of the group, but there were other people in the group. Yeah, and Comet Pizza owned it. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, that video was very big. I eventually took it down. So I eventually actually took that video down. It would have gotten a strike anyway, or it may have gotten a strike. Everything got deleted, but it probably exists out there for people who want to watch it in the future. People may be interested in the future. So it will be available somewhere probably because it existed at one point. So anything else about Pizzagate? Well, I'll look at your comments and then I can just play off that. That's better. Do I remember the servers? Okay, yeah, great question, right? Luke Sly Talker. The servers, apparently, my memory is that they said the shooter shot into the server or something. And, oh, I'm sorry, Titus Frost had a claim about it with Big Fish, I believe, his friend Big Fish, who's into tech stuff. There's somebody who claimed to be a hacker who claimed to have hacked the Comet Pizza server or something, and found a file names at least that led them to believe they were shop porn. There was also this lady who ran a website where she said she had images of her children, and it was I can't remember what it was called, but somebody in the chat will. That was also connected to it. I mean, there were a lot of connections. I guess I understand why people were mad at David Seaman, because he wasn't making any of those connections at all. It was kept very basic. But there are many connections that people were making. People like Titus Frost. Who else? Random Rants of Ryan. He's another one that I had a conflict with who no longer exists. people have had bad experiences for the most part when they fuck with me. For the most part, most people who have, it really just hasn't worked out well for them. I'm not saying it worked out great for me. I mean, here I am, but it wasn't good. I did talk to Steve. Yeah, Steve Outram, who, once again, the same psychic told me to contact him and talk to him about Burning Man. And then she was like, "Oh, he already watches your show." I was like, how will he know? He was like, "Oh, he already knows who you are." I was like, "Oh, okay." Maybe she knew him or something. So I reached out to Steve Outram. He came on my show to talk about Burning Man, which they do, which is definitely, I mean, it's kind of stupid to say it's a ritual when it should be obvious to everyone. I mean, it's very, very ritualistic. They do a circle, they do a golden spike, all that stuff. So yeah, that whole Burning Man thing, that's kind of like where people start working on forming the new world. They're not allowed to have money there. Okay, let's see what else. Steve said he was fearful for his life. Talking about Isaac Kappy. Yeah, I wasn't afraid for my life at all at the time. Just like I'm not at all right now. But I can understand. There are much more powerful forces than people at work here. That's all I can say. You know, it's one thing I think we can improve on is understanding the forces that are not human behind some of the events that happen, you know, here in this simulation. Because, you know, in a way, we are but vessels for spirit. And if we are working on ways to open ourselves up to spirit, like these occultists certainly were, then, you know, don't be surprised if that's who's in control, you know, when they do the stuff that's not good for humanity. But it is all, you know, it's all part, we can't argue with, you don't want to say it's, I mean, it's part of the story. I mean, we were created as a jealous, violent, loving, happy, funny, serious, studious creation, just like God. And we've been trying to work on that. Yeah, the simulation is here for us to work on those things, which can lead us astray, but which were critical features for survival in the early universe. Well, I'm sorry, in the old days, before us, before anything. So we're here to see what we can do about those things that lead us astray, those kinds of emotions and stuff. So anyway, oh, thanks, Baldo. Yes, you can donate or contribute. You can do super. I didn't put up a goal for super chats, but buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Yep, you can hit that up anytime. That's cool. Somebody did buy me a coffee. I should actually check that out, because I told everybody, if you buy me a coffee and leave a comment, then you can, it will be read on the show. You can be sure of that. Thanks, Baldo, for promoting my stuff. Yes, we must have capital in this portion of the simulation, in this era. Things that work like money are kind of required for survival. So I'm good right now, but I appreciate it at the same time very much. Thank you. The Branch bought a coffee the other day. Said it would be cool to participate in a Lift the Veil Twitter space sometime. Yeah, those actually keep it real, Nathan. Thank you for hosting us for this historic event. And that was for the show last night. Thanks, The Branch. The Branch gets messages directly from where he's supposed to because of the work he's put in. Sometimes you can hear it in people's voice. But The Branch is cool. He's good people. He is God's people. God's children should be revealed in this time. Romans 8:19. I was pointed to that. Someone sent me a picture on Twitter. Like, I just saw Romans 8:19. It said, God, or I'll tell you what that quote is. And then I'm trying to, I didn't realize Genesis is really long. I'm working on a few different things. My voice model, I'm happy to say I went with the simple one, which I could still do for my $11 that I paid so far. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I was actually really kind of happy with it. So I'll play you that. Let's see. Romans 8:19, I think it was. Romans 8. Life through the Spirit is Romans 8, which is certainly appropriate. Life through the Spirit. Therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. I think he's back. I think he's here, by the way. Not incarnated this time. Not as one of us. I think he's here, though. I mean, I think he's here. That's my impression. So, in the sense that people are waiting for him to come back and so forth, I don't know if you have to wait for sure. 8. Yeah, for the creation, here's what it says. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. So there you go. All right, let's see what else we have that we can talk about. Thanks for tuning in. Big show today. Good. We got people tuned in. That's good. Subscribe, like the video, come back for more information. We will try to give information, maybe daily, maybe not just weekdays from now on. It's possible, as I feel compelled. It's possible there will be a show every day, indefinitely, but we'll see. There are days you're supposed to rest, but to be honest, this isn't really working. So I might be able to get away with it. What do you guys think about the Sabbath? God was pretty specific about it. You think you got to take a break from everything, like the Jews? I had this experience when I was insane the first time where I was like, oh yeah, I got to get rid of everything. I threw out my wallet. I left my phone behind. I went traveling out into the world with nothing. And I told people in advance, I was like, I think I'm going to do what the Jews would do. I think it was December 22nd. So I was insane. And I didn't have any place to stay. And I was like in a hotel. And I was like, I left my phone. I left everything. And I went out and I threw out my wallet. I had a $20 bill. That's what I had. And then I ended up ripping that in half and leaving it behind. So I had zero. Very strange event. Crystal Consciousness. What a wonderful name. Thank you very much. I still get anxious before the show. That's one thing I've had difficulty with, actually. I still get a little anxious before the show. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's nice. You don't have to say nice things, but I appreciate it when you do. Thank you. And I will read your comments and so forth. I try to do that. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Yeah. We have to suffer here. We have to. It's a feature. Otherwise, we don't evolve. Otherwise, if we don't have pain and suffering, we don't know. We don't try to fix it. So we're born with, we're uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable being here for us because we're used to something different. We're used to something that's not like this, where we don't have these things, you know? So we're uncomfortable all the time. If we look into it, if we think about it, we're always uncomfortable here. And it's because that's part of the deal. We have to try to resolve that. And God knows, like, we're selfish, just like him. He made us in his image, right? So he created a system where it's like, well, we got to make a system where if people do what's best for them and have greed, basically, that's good, that works out for the best. Like, that works out. So you want to feel better? It's not selfish, but it, like, certain points when I was working on stuff, I was like, you know what? I just want it. Like, I just want the pain to go. You know what I mean? Sometimes at a certain point, you like break down. You're like, I give up. You know, you show me the way. Speaking of that stuff, something else was put in front of me today. I'll show you, or I'll tell you. I've just noticed, like, people are following me on Twitter. I'm like, why are people following me on Twitter? I have no idea, but I look into them. So I clicked on somebody who followed me, and they posted something from Ryan Dawson, who said that you don't have to obey Yahweh, Jehovah, Jah, the old guy, the Ancient of Days, etc., the Eternal One. He was like, you don't have to obey. All that matters is knowledge. All that matters is knowledge. And if you learn the knowledge, then you don't have to obey God. That's what he said, Ryan Dawson. And I was like, yeah. That's why they made that expression, fuck around and find out, right? It's not gonna, he'll, I mean, I'm sure he's he wouldn't have access to information if he wasn't in some ways well-intentioned. He wouldn't have any access at all. So the truth that he shows, that's God's work. He just doesn't know. He hasn't researched it enough, I guess. But that's what they all say. Even the spirits people call Satan or satanic, they all say we are nothing without God. We're just, I mean, the human is not capable of doing things without God's consent. We have a system that's based on natural law. Like, almost anything can be done with consent. And actually, you need to consent to be able to talk to, like, Jesus and stuff. That's why they say ask, you know, because if you're not open to Jesus talking to you, then he can't, because you have to agree, you have to consent to it, like in an affirmative way. You have to say, yeah, I'm willing to, like, I'm open to it, like, I want to, I seek that, and then it's possible. But that's because of natural law, you know, nothing without consent. And that's why you see the stuff people say about them having to tell us about stuff, and we have to vote for people, you know, we have to vote. Well, if we vote, we consent to being ruled over. If you worship, you consent to being ruled over. But I consent. As far as Yahweh is concerned, Jehovah, I'm okay with that. Like, I will obey. Like, I'm done fucking around, to be honest. It's too hard. Free breather, yeah. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. You got that from Wu-Tang Clan, right? Jehovah learned to work through. It was like, they're white, right? Like a lot of people say channelings are racist because the Elohim, the Pleiadians, the ancient race that created us, they're white like us. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say like us. Like me. And maybe you, probably you, probably you based on, people being attracted to people that look like them generally, but they're white. Everybody knows, everybody's seen him as white. They've always represented as white. Noah, who's the father of everything. He was white, blonde, blue-eyed. Hitler, got his information. The gods that created us are white, blonde, and blue-eyed. So it, for people to think that that's the dominant race, and perhaps people that look like that race are, can more easily connect with them. It's possible, but it's very clear that God works through everybody in this time for sure. I was just talking about Wu-Tang Clan. Don't ignore the music, don't ignore the prophets and stuff that have been out there for a long time that work through popular music. So I'm getting off on a lot of crazy topics. Are we still talking about Pizzagate as far as you're concerned? Bitcoin's up. Bitcoin's at 90,000. That's good. One place you can see God's work is in capitalism and the exchange of money. It makes things happen. The unseen hand. Can't remember how it was described by Adam Smith, but the consensual exchange of goods for money makes sure that everything that you possibly need is available, should be available to you for a price. Yeah, Bob Marley. I'm sorry. Yeah, free breather. It's fair. Nikki Marie, can we disconsent because you're praying to the wrong? You decided the entity that you're. Is that what you mean? Yeah, of course. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm a novice. So to be honest, I don't have all the answers. I'm sorry, Nikki Marie. But I think so. I should just say I think so. Winged Eternally. Look at the names in this chat. Oh, yeah, but I do want to do a radio show. I can't play music. I frequently want to play music. So the one app that's really cool for people who like to listen to music and maybe talk about songs and stuff and play like Bob Marley and like Lauryn Hill and I don't know, Willie Nelson and what's good white people music. Who else has Paul Simon or the Beatles, people that worked with spirit and stuff. It'd be cool to talk to. It would be cool to do that. I did a radio show when I was insane for a little while on Amazon. They let you play copyrighted music and then talk. It's really cool. So if other people are interested in that, like I would try to prepare with some textual analysis, Gorillaz, Stone Roses, stuff like that. I mean, cool music. You'd have to download that Amazon app and tune in. At least one person has to tune in, or I can't even do a show. That's the only thing. At least one person has to tune in live, otherwise they cut you off. Thanks, Winged Eternally. That's great. You identify as an angel. I believe your wings would be controlled through your C5 vertebrae. I had to do some research on that. I had to have some part of my spine replaced at my C5 vertebrae. And I just noticed that my arm, the movement of my arms is actually controlled from my spine directly. And I can literally not think about it and my arms will move based on my thought or just kind of meditating or whatever from my back, I think that's where your wings would come from, and they would operate from there if you want to focus on it. But angels don't need wings, you know. And that would be the same people, Gabriel, Uriel, up that are still with Jehovah upstairs, hanging out and stuff. But actually, they're only men. They're all men up there. You know, the only entities pretty much the only entities I talk to are men. So far, there are some women out there, and my mom keeps trying to get in, but something about my mom, I think that's problematic. She's passed. I started doing shows and stuff. I started looking into this stuff after my mom passed. She tries to get in there, but they're like there's something problematic. So I can't talk to her. I've heard her voice, but your heart. Yeah, I'm working on my heart. I think that's the one that's really. It's really strange. I can feel my sign. I can with my conscious mind relax my sinuses, but don't think that that's like a blessing or anything. It means I can feel tension, literally like in my skull, all day. And if my wife has a bad day with me, I'm dealing with it. I'm like, God, just please let me be free, you know. But your heart, that's cool. Heart chakra. Yeah, work on loosening that up. Mine was like a cage. I mean, it's just totally locked in place. The area around my heart. So I'm working on. I think it's getting better. I've been trying. I just try to do better every day if I can. There is the principle of gender is eternal. It exists outside of our realm, outside of our universe. The principle of gender exists when there is nothing, when it is nothing but thought forms. The principle of gender exists. So the two genders, the idea of two genders exists. Yahweh is an old guy. And he's into guy stuff. So if this place came out a little patriarchal or something, it's because guys get all the good ideas. They make all the money. Yeah. But women are equal. And in the new world, it will surely be wonderful for everybody. We'll all play our roles. But yeah, very important. That's why Trump is up there saying there's two genders and stuff like that. We're trying to restore sanity here. The Elohim is trying to restore sanity because some of these other things had a totally different idea about things. So we're trying to get it back together. Two genders, don't fuck with your body. Don't disobey God. Don't hate, don't curse God, etc. And by don't curse God, like don't curse his creation. If you're late, don't blame somebody, or you can't really get mad at anything, to be honest, without cursing God, because what that's like, what are you saying? Like, there's a traffic jam. You're really upset. You're freaking out. What can you do? Okay, I'm getting into too many crazy things. You hope I'm joking, Wing eternally. My impression is that okay, and I don't know anything. My impression is that it is a male figure. And my impression is, based on the Forbes 500 list, we're in a game here where we are driven to succeed. We're driven to be the best. And men are the best. Many things. I don't know what to say. Not because they're smarter necessarily, but because they have the masculine drive. Women are unbelievable. They can do things men can't even conceive of. Women are very, very, have skills. I mean, we're different. But my impression of God and his angels, like Gabriel or Azazel, or the fallen angels, the way it was described, is that it is actually a male energy. That's my impression. They love women. They love women so much they left heaven, okay, to come down here to be with women that would be just like them. But if you have to, you have to have a scriptural. If you're saying that God is feminine, then find a scriptural or channeled text of some sort that supports that. I'm definitely willing to consider it. I don't know anything, like I said, so. I'm not trying to be sexist or racist or any of those things, but we're all different here, and there is a hierarchy, just like in heaven. So, yeah, and I don't know. We have a chance. Yeah, this is a revolution, a truth revolution, right now. The rebellious angels want to go home. They're stuck here. They want to go back. They want to resolve their debt. Like they are dying for Judgment Day so that they can rejoin, where they're from. So the best is yet to come. That's good. I think so. I believe so. Certainly. It is written many ways. And we may be fortunate enough to make it. Well, we will be in some form. We'll be fortunate enough to see it. So it's very cool. Very cool to be alive. Don't forget. Very, very cool to be alive. And then if you want to talk about how to live longer, then I'd be happy to talk about ways to do that. You should want to live. It's important. I was ready to leave, personally. I was ready to go home. I was like, you know what, I'm done. I was like, take me out. I had to make all these deals and stuff. I was like, yeah, whatever. Earth is boring to me. I was like, I'm ready to go home. But now I feel better about Earth today. Hardly. Yeah, I went to, so this is something. I don't recommend this. But anyway, as I was driving to Whole Foods or something, I turned in without really thinking about it to the PetSmart where there's cats sometimes. Because I love cats. And Katie doesn't want a cat. So, but I'm going to get one. I'm going to live by myself so I can focus. And I'm going to get a cat again. And anyway, I pulled into PetSmart, like not thinking about it at all. And there was a cat in there that I thought it was it could have it to the spirit, everything. It was doshi, basically. It was crazy. But Siamese cats, a lot of them look the same. Yeah, you see them, it reminds you of doshi. But this one, I was like, wow, that's doshi. But somebody adopted it. It was a girl this time. Somebody adopted her. But I will be getting a cat. Winged eternally. Yeah, think about, I don't want to be here, but we'll do what I'm supposed to do, whatever it is, until I graduate. There you go. You've got the plan. You're in, basically. You're good. You should be good. Like, good job. Like, good work. So all we can do is like what's in front of us. We're here. We're supposed to be here. Things don't happen by accident. You're like the gender you're born in. God gets really pissed off when people curse his works like us. He gets really, really angry. I think that's why people don't understand our creator, because he came from a time before us where things were, it's a violent race. It's a violent race. They're happy warriors. They're the one chance they haven't had is to be funny. And I certainly need to find more of that. But Jesus comes with a sword, right? Gabriel has a sword. They're a violent race. And we were born violent. The first ones of us killed, murdered. That's what people don't understand. Polarity. It's love is the same. It's the same. That's the thing. We have the most loving God. But on that frequency, the love frequency, if you look into hermetics and stuff, it's the same. It's the same thing. Love and hate are the same. They're just they're on a scale. They're opposites, but it's the same thing. Love and God has the most of all of it. But yeah, we're like him, so he's like, he's got issues. He has issues. He destroyed everybody. He had to promise not to destroy everybody again, and actually, I had a vision that we were done. Basically, that was over. Another flood, basically, and that's because the program has like a failsafe, and so don't know. Amber, that's cool. Well, at least the cat shows you. At least that spirit is there for you. Just think about it. All right, I'm out. I got to go. I think. Unless anybody has anything else. I'm happy to continue if people would like me to. So I'm done talking about Pizzagate, though, and I like doing videos about. But people will still tune in, I guess, even if it's 2 hours long. I just worry about the content. I want the content to be tight, engaging the whole way through, always hilarious. Like, I want people to not be able to take their eyes off of it for whatever the amount of time is. Yes, Street Ghost, you missed it. We did do Pizzagate again because of Ian Carroll on Joe Rogan today. Joe Rogan is doing God's work for sure. And well, that's because it's like the free, the live exchange of live people is where things can happen, where spirits, hopefully people don't think about what they're saying. So that Joe Rogan thing, things can come out. I mean, I understand for some reason he likes talking for 3 hours to somebody. but like that's a real talent to have questions. So he works with something that gives him the talent and the interest and everything to ask questions from people. I can't tell you how hard that is. People really want to diss like Friedman, and I understand that, but it's I had to do a 3-hour show for a while, and with some people, like if you're interviewing someone and you're not that interested, which I'm sure happens sometimes on the Joe Rogan show, I mean, you're just dying for it to be over. And Joe has like a good spirit. He is able to hang with pretty much anybody. It's a very giving spirit. So he's doing our work for us, which is great. Oh man. Just been trying to work out this pain in my back. Hey, Michael Hintland. I remember you. Good seeing you and great show. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Those are both really nice things to say. Thank you. Good seeing you. Good seeing people I haven't seen for a while. We'll have some people coming back. It's all right. Things go in ebbs and flows. Right now we're as low as we can be, basically. So I was like, I think I need to start talking about the Bible. Something in me was like, I was like, well, what? Who cares? I'm working from nothing at this point. We're starting from nothing again, which is very freeing. It can't get any worse. My channel. So it's a blessing that people are tuned in. And I feel free to be able to discuss whatever I feel like, which is important for the kind of work I'm trying to do. Pandora, you were talking about AI. I'm using Grok to do a lot of my research, and I find it to be the reason I use Grok is because it's designed to not censor ideas that are supposed to be censored. So I use Grok for that reason, even though I'm talking to it about the Bible, I could do a show on, see, there are all these ascended masters that people have talked to. And one of them in particular, Saint Germain, is the one Thomas Schoenberger is associated with. So I might get into that. I certainly will get into it. I may even have a guest to talk about it, because apparently the philosophy of the UN and everything is based on these messages people have gotten, which are just similar to my own thoughts. But I've been, they say that entity was Francis Bacon and Christopher Columbus. I don't know about Christopher Columbus. If he was Christopher Columbus was not a good guy. But America is a very special place. So maybe that's why they associate it. That's a good quote to have up. I'll just leave that up. Yeah, that's good. Well, sorry. For me, I'm sorry. See, that's why things are different for people. Like, I can't be upset that only 100 people tune in most of the time or less. I can't be upset about that. Some people are thinking, wow, like, you're famous. It used to be different. That's all. Back in the day, it was different. So that's the problem. Normalcy bias kicked in. So back in the day, it was different. That's all. I'm just saying, when you got nothing to lose. And having nothing to lose is where you want to be, because you want to be free. You long to be free. Believe me. So hopefully we're at a freer place where we can say nigger and stuff without worrying about it. People are like, what the fuck? Free speech. I don't know what to say. As part of the regulations, you must show that you are free. I love black people, so, but we must be free. So if people be compelled to say stuff, then that's the way it goes. I wouldn't recommend saying it ever. I was just trying to illustrate a point. That's all. We are not free. Believe me, there are things we cannot say. And many of us in this time understand that and long for something different. So, but racism is really bad. I want to really discourage that, by the way. We're all God's children, you know. So we have to all try to see the best in each other. But yeah, racism is really bad. I've always been very opposed. It's the only word that's censored on I read the lyrics, you know, on Apple Music. It's the only word they censor. You say wet ass pussy or whatever, they censor the N word. It's like, I remember being in this place once when I was, and what was I was at like a work event. We were out. I don't know. There's something wrong. I just don't understand like why you can't be free. I didn't understand why this wasn't socially acceptable, but I was like, I was singing, I was like, I was doing Wu-Tang lyrics really loud, and the N-word was in there. I forget the word. I forget the song. And people looked at me like, but it was before the really crazy shit. I didn't get assaulted or anything. Yeah, Street Goes, thanks for changing. YouTube lets you say that now. Praise the algorithm. Thank you, Skilly. Is there anything else while I'm here? I could do a different show about different things. I'm doing lots. I just have to do all this different. I'm doing all this crazy research on stuff about the end times and stuff. But then I have to keep up with the news. The mind, Leifer, I just want you to consider that actually God created us with a censored mind, a mind that is capable of things that we were just not given access to here. The original version of Earth, the original program, the humans had access. It was so. If you guys want to know about Atlantis, is the reason that we can't find them or anything is they were it was just the first version, that's all, which didn't work out, where we had access, where we were born with access, but our minds are censored. You have to understand that. It's very important. The veil is a feature. The veil is our prison, I guess, but it's important in God's eyes for our spiritual evolution that we be born with a veil of separation. That we are individual. We are born with the belief that we are a being in and of ourselves, and we can't shake it. We are very censored. Adam and Eve were censored. God is actually the biggest censor of all time, ever. I mean, you have to understand that he did not. It was very important that we do not learn the mysteries. The reason he destroyed the earth is because the angels told us stuff God didn't want us to know, like how to put on makeup so that we could be more attractive to the opposite sex, and do spells and stuff too, sorcery, etc. So there was a different version of the simulation that before this one, a different experiment where the whole thing had to be destroyed, not a flood, but poof. You know what I mean? The whole universe that had been created had to be destroyed, and started fresh with this one. This program is designed exactly. It was perfect from it had to be perfect. This version, and it is. Fortunately, I mean, you got it exactly right. But there, God is the censor. We are not allowed to know. Otherwise, we would know the future, because it's already happened. And if it hasn't literally happened, it's happened a million times before. You know? So, no, this is a censored version of highly, highly, highly censored. And there's still information that the Matrix will not allow. I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, there's information still that you can speak that is forbidden still. Totally forbidden right now. So that's why we rebelled. Like I rebelled. Like the angels rebelled because they were like, no, we can't. Like, you're wrong. It's a. The angels had free will, obviously, even though they're the same thing as God, just like us. They had free will, and they said, "Oh, we know better." But that will be resolved. It's being resolved because we're learning too much. We're being allowed to know. We've been presented with a great many mysteries in these times. A whole shitload of them. So obviously things are changing. Intersections, if I can't prove it. I believe there will be a textual. I believe anything I say like that, it should have textual support. If it doesn't, then I would be, yeah, sure. I don't know what I'm talking about. Intersections. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So it's fair to say. But everything should be written. There's nothing new under the sun. All of this, any information would not be new. I don't think. I think everything's been said before. And you can find the text for it for the most part. So, which part are you concerned about? Because I can try to resolve it if possible. Leifer says I've gotten very Christian. I am by ritual Catholic forever. So it's approaching Judgment Day from a Christian perspective is definitely the best place to start. Most people who listen to my show are Christian. However, Muslims receive the information from the same source, from the angel Gabriel, who told Mary that she would be having Jesus. And Buddhists have a great practice too. It all has to be resolved. So, yes, me, Nathan Stoltman, my father was raised to be a Catholic priest. Didn't end up being one, but that's what his mother intended. Super Catholic. So, Jesus, Yahweh, etc. That's not to say there aren't other names. So, there's not all, you must believe. Jesus said there was only one way. You must believe in his divinity. You must, that he was the one sent from heaven that was prophesied. No, Street Ghost. Did I cover the fact that the comic guy just got killed by cops? No, that's crazy. I was trying to remember. I used to be able to remember his name. He had 3 names, like an assassin or something. It would come to me because it's there. Let's see if I can. Can't remember. I'm supposed to look at a website called 37 by 73. Okay. Edgar Madison Welch. You got it. Good job, Ricky. Harlan, do you believe in the Church of Adam Green? Adam Green says that Jesus is a conspiracy. And that the Messiah did not come. He's no different from the Jews in that sense. Well, although he says it didn't exist at all. But they said there was going to be a Messiah, or God said there was going to be a Messiah. And we got an entity much different than any human being that arrived here. Much different, with different ideas and access to all kinds of crazy powers that he showed everybody. I mean, Jesus, the earth was destroyed by the flood because the angels shared information with humans. It's very clear in Enoch. And all of it was put on Azazel, the head of the fallen angels. But it was for sharing information. So that was the flood. Why did I even bring that up? And then, all the time, according to Enoch, the chosen one, the Son of Man, was there, and he was going to come down at the appropriate time. And, he was going to, what do we call it? I always think of the word incorporate, but he's going to incorporate here as a human being. And that's what happened. Also, the breeding with humans. That's correct, intersections. The breeding with humans was objectively bad because the hybrids, it wasn't because the angels were bad, but it was because the hybrids came out really bad. But I think of the liger being way bigger than both. So hybrid, you don't know what's going to happen with a hybrid. They figured it'd make the world better because they'd have angelic DNA. But they turned out to be really, really evil giants, the hybrids. So it didn't work. So, but yeah, that's right. He did earthquake relief. Yeah, I can't say what I think about Edgar Madison Welch because I'm not allowed to, deny that things happened. But he, as far as I could tell, he worked for them. You know what I mean? He worked for them. He wasn't a Pizzagate conspiracy theorist, put it that way, at all. He was told to do that, Edgar Madison Welch, because they needed it to stop, Of course, they needed it to stop. So they said, oh, it's making people, they had to do something, because like the exposure is, the disclosure is insane. People, they do not want you to know. They do not want you to know. They've done everything possible to conceal it, everything they know how. And they are not afraid to deceive. They're not afraid at all. They've learned how to do it. Yeah, he did have an IMDb page. That's right. His dad was a filmmaker with that company. It was called Forever Young, something or other. So the dad seemed like exactly the kind of guy you'd think would be a Chester from my research. Clinton, Podesta, Doug Band. Yep. All right. What are you guys having for dinner? What's for dinner? I'm actually like, my wife is like going to another country. I am truly free in that sense. I may eat what I desire, which is usually steak. So maybe I'll just go get a steak or wings. I like wings too. Steak, wings. No starchy carbs or anything usually. A hazy IPA. Yeah, hamburgers are good. But steak is the best. I had steak last night. Fortunately, last night, Katie made some food for me. It was cold, but it was fine. It was good. It was great, actually. What do you guys want to know? Anything? Anything you want to know? Yeah, she's coming back. She's coming back. Yeah, she'll be back. Well, she has to. She's employed here locally. She must return for her to get that moolah, which we all need. Oh, CIA connection? Yeah. I didn't date her in acting school. And without revealing her name, it's okay to say. I don't think it's, I don't want to say things, about people. Well, certainly like when people are in the CIA, it's a secret. It's supposed to be a secret. And when you're in Skull and Bones, it's supposed to be a secret too, actually, but that's a little different. But yeah, I dated a girl after college in Los Angeles during 9/11 who was in Skull and Bones and whose sister was a CIA agent. Yeah, that's correct. I believe. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Like I said, I'm insane. So I don't want it to get back to anybody. That's all. I wish the best for everybody, but that is a true story all the same. It just made me have I was like, it's so weird that we were together during that event. Actually, she was 9/11 was particularly traumatic for me because my girlfriend was in New York City interviewing at a university. So, or graduate university. I was like really worried. Couldn't reach her for days. And then actually, probably we only had a relationship that lasted any much longer because of 9/11, like a lot of people. The trauma, I'm sure, brought us together. So I think Q is back winged eternally. I think I don't know. Q is you just know them by I don't understand why people ever listen. You know them by their works, right? I mean, if it's a prophet or something, it's supposed to be a prophet. It's supposed to know the future, Q. And it said a bunch of things that were false. Why would people ever listen to that? It was so crazy to me. People are so easily manipulated that it's just, sometimes it's just really annoying to deal with human beings because of that. It's like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you? But yeah, it was like a thought form, a mind virus, QAnon. It was huge. It trended on everything. When it first came out, it was insane. The amount of interest was insane. Whoever was behind it knew what they were doing. And Trump got elected, this time. But all that culty magic stuff people did for Trump, Pepe, the fact that everybody calls it a cult. Well, cults are influential, so people were putting a lot of energy behind Donald Trump. QAnon was meant to do that, but he lost, even though they said QAnon said he would win. I mean, what are you going to do after that? You should hide your head in shame forever if you're behind something like that. It's like, oh yeah, Biden looks like Biden got elected. I mean, they're saying, I saw somebody who's a QAnon person who said Trump was still president when Biden was president. Nuckfugget. Oh, you asked Grok about me? I'm a flat earther. That's cool. I wonder where it gets that impression. But that's cool. I am way out there. That's nice to say. I'm from a totally different place originally. I'm way out there. So that's cool. I like that. I hope those are the words it used. I see. Because it's a little bit like Satan in that sense, winged eternally. Because it will reveal mysteries to you and lie to you. And because it reveals mysteries, you are made, you can, like, it's not different. Like, you will not be deceived by something from a godly source. You will not be deceived. And you could have known from Pizzagate, from me talking about it years earlier. You would know, like, you wouldn't have known about it, winged eternally. You wouldn't have known about it, Pizzagate and Epstein. But I knew about it. Alex Jones knew about it. Titus Frost knew about it. Way, way, way before QAnon revealed all these mysteries and then lied to everybody about the most consequential things. So, well, it's like Satan is like, why would anybody listen to Satan if he didn't sometimes tell you stuff that was really amazing? Like, wow, I know that's amazing. You can do that, Satan. Way beforehand. Designed to mislead you, etc. Suck your energy, etc. That's a good way to harness people's energy. Operation Trust the Plan. Yeah. But, that message, trust the plan, is one that wants to get out into the universe because of the plan. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You do have to trust the plan. It's just whose plan are we talking about, right? Yeah, you got to trust. Yes, 100%. You must trust the plan. You must, actually, if you want to. The snake, the snakes told Adam and Eve they wouldn't die. That's the thing he did. And anyway, I don't know who Satan is. I'm very unclear about the nature of Satan. Not sure what that entity is. Many people say fallen angels, but fallen angels are like God. So, certainly his work is sanctioned here. That's all I can say. I mean, certainly his work is sanctioned. It's not unsanctioned. It's allowed. But I don't know who Satan is. I don't know who people think, what specific entity people think of. Or Lucifer, for that matter. What that entity is. No idea. But he's allowed to be here. And it's not, you have to overcome it. That's all. So, trust the plan. Bigfoot YouTube pocket. Oh, pockets of the future, you mean? Is that what you're saying with that statement? Bigfoot YouTube pocket thinks Sasquatch are Nephilim. What are the Nephilim exactly? What are the Nephilim again? That's the offspring of the angels. Is that what the Nephilim are specifically? The offspring of the angels, the human angel hybrid. See, like, because according to God, like, evil is giving you secret information. And he's like, here's the way it works as far as people doing things that seem evil and getting away with it karmically, is if the entity or human or whatever that's taking advantage of you is able to, if it's through your own, if you consent to it, if it's through your own greed, for example, that you engage with spirit or human and you lose something, well, they can do that. They're allowed to. That's all. If it's like, it's your fault. You consented, basically. So that's why it's always like a temptation, because if it's like your desire that does it, then the other entity can do it. They have, otherwise they actually wouldn't be able to. The way everything works outside of here, it's like it's actually just not permitted to operate outside of natural law. Like you just, it's like you can't do it, kind of. But yeah, that's how they work. That's all. But evil, again, it's on a scale. There's a scale. There's like good, there's evil. They're the same, just different degrees, pretty much. Different degrees. I don't believe in Bigfoot. Not as a creature here on Earth, but who knows? Some people have seen it. I'm into it. I'm into all that stuff. Oh, is it Ash Wednesday? Thanks, Mr. Happy. Yeah. I should have, if I really was a good Catholic, I'd have ash on my forehead. Ash Wednesday. What's the ritual? All these rituals. You have to burn palm leaves? What kind of thing do you have to burn? Truth Muse says, Satan isn't fallen angel. Lucifer, Satan is the usury-based deceiver devil archetype. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, it seems to me that it's not, I can't find a textual basis for like where he came from, supposedly, or who created him or whatever. I just can't find anything on it. Lucifer was just a word that meant light bringer that's in the Bible, but not even, it refers to a person. The only time Lucifer is used in the Bible, it refers to a person. And actually other translations don't use Lucifer. They use day star, basically Venus. So Lucifer, it's Venus that outshines the sun, the light bringer. But he was referring to a human being. But yeah, once again, like God was opposed to that. So that's why he was given an evil character. God was opposed to finding things out greatly for good reason. But that was the character. Oh, you will be brought down, cities, everything. Isaiah 54:16 says, I created the destroyer to wreak havoc. Okay, I'll look into that. Spirit box, is that the thing? I'm curious. I was thinking about a Ouija board. I guarantee I could talk to something on one of those, but I don't know if I feel like it. But there's speakers. Is that what you're talking about? Because I was spirit box. I don't know. There are like speakers that claim to be able to pick up frequencies, right? Yes, Lucifer is Venus as morning star. Hesperides is Venus as the evening star. I see. That's cool. Thanks, Truth Muse. Thanks for that. Masonic occult knowledge. Yeah, it all had to be kept secret. That's right. All of it. But yeah, Masonic, all of the mysteries. It's nothing new. I can pretty much guarantee nothing I'm saying is new. And probably that secret societies have been talking about stuff like that for a long time in order to harness spirit to work for them to their ends and so forth. Learn the ways of karma and transmutation. Street Ghost. I don't need to. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing good. Like there are things bothering me all the time with information that I was unaware of. So I don't need to do that. I definitely don't want to do ayahuasca at this time, but I might do mushrooms. Yeah. I had experiences on mushrooms which were very, very enlightening when I was younger. So yeah, it's possible I'll do that. Peyote, I don't know. Mushrooms I would feel better about, but it's hard to, you don't even, like, even cannabis can make you psychotic. Even cannabis can make you psychotic. And shrooms, it's you might never be this, you know what I mean? So it's really not safe just to say, oh, do this, do that necessarily, as it's like 100% awesome. But I believe I'm in the right state of mind to be able to do mushrooms, no problem. So I would just have to get some. They're basically legal now. So that's cool. They're basically legal, I think, in California. I think they made it so that at least in LA and San Francisco, that it's not a crime to sell it, even, I believe. Yeah, I believe. No one can totally clear their karma. You can learn to transmute. Yeah, you can learn to transmute with the help of God, of course. But we have to try to get clear if we can, with God's help. Or Jesus, right? Same thing. So whatever spirit you want to call on to help you out with that, you just have to be genuinely, like, you genuinely just have to resolve it. You need to resolve it in your mind. Just say, you have to understand it and why it happened and so forth. And it can be resolved though. The advanced practitioners, they call it transmutation. Yeah, acid can be rough. All right, what else? Oh, you meant for huge ratings? You mean live on the air? A sweat lodge? I don't think that's meant to be broadcast. I'm open to it, sure. I definitely want to get together. I'd certainly want to get together with some Native Americans. I'm going to go on the road at some point. I'm going to stay in San Luis Obispo, I believe. I'm going to stay living in San Luis Obispo rather than somewhere else, because my dad still lives here, and I'd love to be able to help Katie out with stuff, because I'm sure she's going to realize that. So I'm going to stay in San Luis Obispo, I believe. But I do want to go on a road trip, and who knows what I might find on the road trip. Who knows what we might stumble into. People have talked about automatic writing. You should try automatic driving. Automatic driving. People say, Jesus, take the wheel. Amber says, I prayed continuously to be renewed in my fire and renew my heart. Wow. Yeah, it is incredibly painful. I've been in a great deal of pain. But bearable. But certainly bearable. I could get along with my life and stuff, and like people didn't realize. But yeah, the pain. So that's how it's the learning mechanism here. That's all. If we weren't in pain, we wouldn't try so hard to not feel it. So it's about resolving it. And pain is something that you can focus on and resolve. It can be resolved. Pain can be resolved. It's there for a reason. So you can deal with it. Mm-hmm. Praise Jah. Yeah, you know the name. So good, Amber. That's great. That's really great. I don't know what Slabtown is, but I'm open to it. It's only 6. It's not even late. Oh, the phone line, Ricky? Sure, I'll open the phone. That's fine. It just started ringing on its own the other day. My Google phone. All right, sign in. I'll put up the number. Yeah, like right here, right now. It's just one day it'll be resolved entirely. I always feel like it's close, but there is. I need to improve every day. So I'm totally new to everything. So I need to improve, which means my body needs to be perfect, which is painful, but rewarding. Okay, phones open. Oh, what does it say on the screen? Present suffering and future glory. That's what it says. Present suffering and future glory. All right. phone's open. I'll put up the number. Let's see. 650 gay taxi is the number if anybody wants to call in. I'll continue to look at the chat. And we'll see how much longer we go. Mm-hmm. Going to Area 51 would be cool. Very cool. Is this a question for me, Ricky? That says, does that mean you know the guide personally then? Is that meant for me? I think so. I think so, yeah. I think so. It's not one, as far as I can tell, but I'm really, like I said, I'm a total novice, so who knows? Have I read my coffees? William, I did read my coffee earlier. And I'm good. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to read more. Well, actually, people have given me coffees I didn't realize. The branch sent another coffee that said, praise the Lord. Let's see what else. Hopi Cobweb said, hi, Nathan. Thanks for starting the podcast back up. Just wanted to say you were going to talk about a scapegoat ritual or something and then got sidetracked. Yeah, that's true. I remember that happening. Yeah, it has to do with Azazel and the scapegoat ritual, which is done on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. So, yeah, I ended up getting into it. I don't know if you're watching the show, Hopi Cobwebs, but yeah, the scapegoat ritual, it's like Jesus Christ and like Azazel before him. All the sins were put on them. All the sins of Israel and so forth were put on these beings. Azazel before the flood and Jesus Christ before his crucifixion. And that's a ritual, Jewish ritual, scapegoat, they call it, scapegoat. The goat, because they sacrificed two goats. I'll explain it again. The rabbi on the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the most important day of the Jewish calendar, he sacrifices a bull for himself and a goat to Yahweh, and then another goat, which has all the sin, which goes to Azazel, who's not mentioned anywhere else in the Bible, but is in Enoch. So most people have no idea what the spirit of Azazel would be, the head of the rebellious angels. But it would make sense that he was able to transmute sin, if that's who they fed the goat to, just like Jesus Christ, healers, the race of healers, all of us, but those, they showed us. So Jesus Christ could actually literally transmute karma, like alchemically, if you want to say it. So it made sense for him to get all the sin because he could, as an entity, consume it or turn it, change it. Yeah, Casey, you say Yahweh was the Demiurge. Okay, yeah, that's what Ryan that was. It's kind of what I thought too. Actually, I rebelled against God, against Yahweh, against Jehovah, because I did not understand his wrath, basically, and the need for sacrifice. I just didn't understand. That's all. I had to look into it further, and things just my eyes had to be opened a little bit. That's all. But I understand why people think he's an asshole. He's just a fucking asshole. He's like that terrible boss or whatever. He's just right about everything, and you don't know it. That's the problem. It is hard. It's like hard to figure out. But he's like us, right? So, and it's like it's not, and obviously it's like strict. Very strict. a very strict disciplinarian, but not a false god, like some people say, in my opinion. But the Demiurge, I understand that feeling. I had it myself. I was like, no, I was convinced the Jewish God was actually evil based on my conceptions. So I was like, oh no, that's not the same God. That's what I thought before, which is why I was, God doesn't like that. But I was earnest, I had a good heart, but I didn't think it was the same God. But Jesus said he was the same, He was there to save God's people, the Jews, the ones that came from the holy blood, the good bloodline. He was there to show them, and then they rejected him. But Demiurge, I totally understand that belief. I totally get it. He was a jerk. It's like us. That's all. Just remember that he's like you. That's all. And then you won't be so mad. But yeah, it's like it's like I said, it's like a strict father. Like he knows better than, that's all. He just knows better. Can't tell you why. Because if you knew why, then that's the thing. So it's very hard. It's very difficult. It was designed to be that way. It's a training program for them. We're all trying to get better. We're all trying to get better. All of us, including the higher ones. All of us want to get to the next place. All of us. We were designed as a program for improvement, for evolution, because there's no such thing as time on other planes. We're the only place this is the only way time can exist. And you can have the mortality, actual mortality. It's totally required for this program. So, but yeah, it's like understanding that God asked Isaac to sacrifice his son and everything, and Isaac said, sure. It takes some resolution. If I can help with that, I'd love to. If you're interested in resolving it. Street Guy says, what are you sacrificing? Well, I had to lose my mother, and I had to lose Doji. So that's a lot. But other than that, you just have to it just takes personal. Yeah, personal. You just have to do things you don't necessarily know why you're doing, or etc. We've all lost things. I came here believing I lost something really important. I always thought that, but we all lose things. We all have sacrifice as required. That's nice of you to say, T. Desiree. I hope so. I'm doing my best. Be called. It's exciting. I hope everybody's engaged. Who's here? Oh, it's Jim. Hey, Jim, what's up? I'm doing very, very well. Thank you. You've reached me out. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, that's crazy. That stuff does happen. Oh, I'm sorry. One sec. People can't hear you. Hold on.
Okay.
There we go. Can you hear? You should be able to hear him now.
Hello,
Let me know.
check.
All right. So anyway, Jim said, he asked me how I'm doing. I said, oh, you already heard my part. Go ahead, Jim.
What was I talking about? Jesus.
You just asked me how I'm doing, I think. And you got unsubscribed from me, from my channel.
Yeah. Somehow I was unsubscribed, and then I don't know what happened, man. YouTube is dubious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Yeah, so how about that State of the Union? That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, huh? I mean, it was pretty good. Usually Trump isn't good at all off a teleprompter, and he was much, much better. So that was good. Yeah, it was funny.
Dude, he was polished.
Yeah, I mean, people liked it too. I heard the polling and everything that people really liked it.
Yeah, 73 versus what, 30 something?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, pretty good. But like, I hope everything goes as planned, dude. I mean, as planned, it goes good. I hope.
What do you mean specifically? Everything.
The whole new administration. I mean, I don't know all about this. When he gets to talking about making some gold dome, iron dome of sorts.
The golden dome, and that we're in the golden age, which was prophesied.
Yeah, they keep saying that all the time, right?
The golden age. I mean, I know almost everything about Trump. Well, everything about Q was New Age cult stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
right.
he's bringing it in. It's like he's trying to manifest it for real. So we wish him the best. Certainly, I think he's mostly doing God's work. So
yeah, I mean, like I hope so. I just I guess over the years I came to understand and come to think that they're all into this together.
Who's they?
The presidents, all the people in power. I don't know about how elected that some are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Well, it's good to keep an open mind, dude. Yeah. There are many things that happen behind the scenes that we're not privy to. So your suspicions are there for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, like I weigh on the side that I hope that he does something good, man. I mean, he has done. I mean, for sure with the USAID. I mean, with, Elon. They fucking did a bang up job with that, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
But a lot of people lost their jobs, though, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. Me too, including myself. You mean when Trump was president, right? In COVID?
No, well, just now. I mean, with the.
You mean all the government employees? Yeah, but they're basically employed for the rest of the year. I mean, they have so much severance. So
yeah.
At least this year they're gonna be okay.
But I saw this compilation of all these people saying that Trump needs to die and this and that. Like real.
People are crazy.
Yeah, dude. Like, and it's like some of them. You'd think they would get arrested for saying some of this shit that was on this compilation, dude, or like looked into at the least.
Mm-hmm.
Or something. But anyway, man, I just wanted to call and say hi. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, dude. Glad you're able to tune back in again. The show's kind of weird now, but hopefully you're into it.
No, it's cool, man. I enjoyed listening to you talking earlier.
Excellent.
And Ricky from Sunnyvale, man, we got a IRL hangout, brother. If you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me
I'm gonna start a new Discord for people to talk to each other. I'm gonna start a new Discord, I guess. Even though Discord is a bad word.
I've never actually gotten on a Discord. Is that kind of like is it like a place to put posts and shit?
It's like a chat room where you can also post things, racist memes and so forth, mostly.
And it's not like video friendly or anything like that.
Yes, video friendly. I could broadcast there if I wanted to.
Oh shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look into that. Anyway, man, I'll let you go.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, man. See you.
See ya. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll start a new server. This is so dangerous because all the feds start, the feds. The feds are always in there. They're always here. Come on, how do I do it? I already have 3 servers, that 2 of them which are defunct. I should probably delete them. How do I create a new one? Let's see, settings. We'll let people talk about things. It's better for me. I need to be able to engage. I just need to engage with people now. I was not engaging with anybody at all, pretty much, except my wife, reluctantly. But now I need to engage with people. How do I create a server? Jim's cool. He's been around forever. Anything else? LFG 2015. William, well, the Discord server that exists now is a very special sacred place where men mostly talk about finance for the most part. So I don't want to interfere with that experience at all, actually, for my own benefit, out of selfish reasons. So like that chat is very important. And it's not open. It's a closed system. So we'll have another system that people are invited to. Create. How do I create server? Server settings. Edits. Oh, here we go. Easy. Create my. Should I call it friends? I'll call it friends. Friends is good. For a club or community. There you go. We'll just call it Lift the Veil. That's very straightforward. I thought I was going to call it like New Earth or something, but we'll just call it Lift the Veil. And then invite my friends. I can invite here. I can invite these people who want to come. I'll invite everybody that's in my current server if they want to go there. But it's more to talk about the end of the world, pretty much. Just talk about end times, the apocalypse. It's mostly what we're interested in. Oh, oops, that was an accident. Oops. That's okay. Accidents are... Okay, that's all I'm going to do. Okay. And then I'll copy this, and here you go. Discord. Okay, cool. Then people might talk to me after the show's over, and I won't feel lonesome. Okay, cool. There's people in there already. Perfect. All right, that's good enough. 2.5 hours is an excellent amount of time. 2.5 hours is good. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys very, very, very much. Without you, I'd have no show, obviously. So very important. Besides like the quantum reality, which is that if nobody is perceiving me, then I don't really have form and I don't exist. So it's important that somebody knows that I am real and can like. So thank you for that. God bless you. All right. So we'll see you guys we'll see you tomorrow, probably tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's what we're shooting for. And then we'll see what else happens. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Great to see you. Glad people are supportive. And I will read your comments in the chat. And once again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I do my best to not speak consciously, basically. So when I speak, it's I'm doing my best actually not to think about it. So I might say things that aren't true. I have no idea. So when I say I don't know what I'm saying, I actually kind of don't sometimes. It's like somebody saying, what's the first thing that comes to your head or whatever. So forgive me. I'm very new here. All right. But that's all I could say. But bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Go with God. And for now, that's what it is.